Good evening, everyone. Again, I am Pastor Darnell Montgomery. I am the pastor here of Bethany AME Church. We welcome you into our home. We thank you for coming out tonight. 2 weeks ago, we gathered here in the sanctuary to begin discussions with regards to the My Brother's Keeper initiative that has come out of the White House and that the mayor's office has graciously undertaken with the senior advisor, Mr. Singleton. And it just so happens that I happen to be one of the people that got to be part of this, and I am humbled and grateful for the opportunity. 2 weeks ago when we gathered, we had community members, we had a couple of the chiefs of police from the local area here at the table with some of our young people. And one of the things that came out of that particular meeting was the need for us, who are the adults, to be able to hear from our young people, the ones that we say are in trouble, the ones that we say need help, the ones that we say need guidance and direction, that it was now time for us to begin to hear from them as to what their needs are and how we can best meet them. So despite the fact that it's snowing outside, we didn't want to cancel because we want to keep this conversation going. And just as much as we have gathered here tonight, after this conversation is over, we'll come back again to continue to have the conversation and not only have the conversation, but begin to make things come alive so that we are making a difference in the lives of our young people and helping them to attain greatness. And remember that not all of our young people are bad. Not all of our young people are doing things that are bad. Hey, all right, I almost got preachy, but not all of them are bad. The reality of it is that they all have to live in that environment. So we're trying to show them how it is that we can, come out of it. If I could just for a moment say how wonderful it is also to be here, and then we're going to open up the floor to have our young people begin the dialogue. I was sharing, I teach 7th and 8th grade English language arts at Roland School, middle school kids, and report cards come out this week. And I was sharing with them the thing that inspired me was not only having good teachers, but having a single mom who was raising 4 children. My mother never finished. My mother's highest grade of completion of school was 8th grade. And being the oldest son, I now hold a master's degree and other work. But then on top of that, the thing that I shared with them is because of my work and because of not allowing the environment that I came from to dictate where I was going to go, having an opportunity at some point soon to be able to journey to the White House. And having come from where I did to be where I am now, I never thought I'd be able to be there. And I say that to inspire the young people that sit at the table now. It's not where you come from, but it's about where you're going. And no one can dictate your path but you. So as our conversation begins tonight, we have all young people at the panel. And we are hoping that these young people will take a moment to talk to us about what they see the needs are in the community and how we as the adults can help serve them. And then if you have questions that you might want to throw out, we are opening the floor for that as well. Kevin? When you pick the mic up, please just do us a favor, since we have news folk here and others, please just introduce yourself with your first and last name and tell us where you go to school and what year you are in. Thank you.
I'm Kevin Creswell. I'm a 10th grade student, and I am a student at John Harris.
What I wanted you to do was begin the conversation, and then anyone on the panel can jump in. I wanted you to begin the conversation with what you see might be a pressing need or an issue that we need to hear from you all tonight.
Well, one of the main needs that we can all agree on is we need something to help the students that once made a bad choice. That's the main thing I would like to focus on, because it just hurts to see so many people that want to succeed but can't because there's nothing there for them. So they just take for the streets.
When you say giving them a second chance, let's look at it from two aspects. One, academics, and then two, having come out of the criminal justice system. So let's talk about it from a grade standpoint. What would a second chance look like for a student who slacked off academically and is now trying to get back on track?
Well, I believe we all make mistakes in life, and we all got to pay for them, and I understand that. But what I think is, if a kid turns around, gets good grades, doesn't get in trouble anymore, they should get a second chance. Like, let's say they lost a couple of years in high school. They'll be 20, 21 by then, so they'll probably get kicked out, and then they'll probably have to pay for what they need. And some people from the community just don't have the resources necessary to pay so they can get that high school credit that they missed. That's my thing for a second opportunity.
Anyone else on the panel want to maybe take a stab at that or talk about that as it relates to having a second chance academically and how that and how that might look or anyone?
Well,
tell me your name. Tell me your first and last name again and what.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
My name's China. I go to John Harris High School and I go to SciTech. For a second chance, I agree that like a student should get like a second chance or whatever. It just, to me, it's just like there's a lot of people who go to school and like say they have to be to school for like 3 years to like catch up what they missed. There's a lot of students who don't get the right amount of push to be able to succeed. And I mean, like, say like they want to go and they want to say they want to get their diploma or whatever. Like they will go and they will finish that whole year, but then like a second year something may happen or something will like there's like a cause and then like they will just stop. It just like I just feel like they need that push to keep going, like to just do not give up.
Where does that push come from? Where would that push come from to help us to help motivate the student? How would that look?
Well, there's a lot of help out there. It's just where you go to get that help, and a lot of teenagers and like young adults, like 16, 17, 18, are like their own guardian. So like they have to take care of themselves. So it depends like where they go, and some students, they wouldn't even know where to go to get that help. They wouldn't know where to look for to like help them to like get the education they need. And I just like it should be like somewhere like easy for them to either go or like where they can see like to show like that they have that help. Like, cause it'll be hard. Like, say if they'll find help, but then half them wouldn't even know like if they do get the help, and then say a person gives them money to help, half of them wouldn't even know that they have to pay that money back for one, and then they'll get caught up in debt, and then they will stop school because they're caught up in debt, and then two, like where would they even go to begin with? So I just think that like there should be like somewhere, or like we should put like something out there like to show that like they have help.
Do you not think that there's help available now in as it relates to the John Harris or SciTech campus of the Harrisburg School District? Are there not helps already in place for the students?
There is, but there isn't.
Say more about that, please.
They all say, there's help, but we don't know where's the help. We ask, where's the help? We go to the council, where's the help? They don't know nothing about that. So I'm being said that there's help out there, but where is it? I can't find it.
To add on to that, like there's help, but like if they go to their counselors and ask for help or secretaries or whatever, they will push them to someone else. Like they wouldn't, they'll like, they act like I won't say act, but like they will say that they care, but half the time, like when they do come to them, they say, well, you can go here, then you can go there, and then like they will even sit there with you and like fill out like if there's paperwork or anything, like to help them, but half of them wouldn't even tell you like all the things that comes with it. And so like that's where the push comes. Like they would sit there and help you like fill out something or show you where to go, but it's the push. It's like, well, okay, well, do you have transportation to this place? Do you need like any more information? Do you want me to look into it more? It's just the need of like going the extra mile to help the student.
Great. We want the counselors and the administrators and the teachers of our various schools to go the extra mile. So then I want to ask the question, how far are you all willing to go to make sure that you get what you need? That's one. Excuse me. And two, as it relates to, you made a statement, China, is that right? Mm-hmm. You made a statement about young people raising themselves and being their guardians. I don't want to let that go because I want to come back to it, but I want to talk a little bit about if you want them to go the extra mile, then what are you willing to do to make sure that you're successful as well?
Yeah, that's why like in the beginning, that's why I had said it depends on like how much help do they want. Because it's not everybody else making that decision for you. You have to make the decision yourself, and you have to push yourself. Especially like a lot of these teenagers have children, and it's like you can't. I know like you can't give up. You have to keep pushing. It's you have to motivate yourself for somebody else to be able to motivate you. Because if somebody motivates you, if you can't motivate yourself, you're not going to take none of that in. Of what they're trying to give to you. And most of us young, especially young black kids, we tend to like say, well, they're just saying that, they don't really want to help, there's nobody really there to help me. But if you don't want to help yourself, how you going to let somebody else help you?
Mm-hmm. And what I think about teachers going the extra mile, I don't think putting all the weight on the teachers, because it also comes from us. I understand that because I'm a student and I have a favorite teacher that I help, and I see how they treat her. So it really comes back to us as how we want to succeed. Because if we want to succeed, we won't be doing the things that we all do when we're in the classroom. Because teachers are not there because they want to be there. They want to be there. They want to be there. They want the best for us, but they can't provide it with the best for us if we just ignore them, talk, be on the phone. We can't just blame it on the teachers.
Where does family fall into any of this? I hear we talked a little bit about teachers. We talked about the student. Where does family fall into any of this? Someone else. I mean, come on. I see Kevin in China. I love it. If somebody else got a mic, want to jump in and help us out? Go ahead. Turn it on. Make sure you tell us your first and last name and your year of school, please.
My name is Alicia, and I'm from John Harris. I believe family plays a big part of it because it gives the student and us motivation to keep us going, to keep us focused and not to give up on ourselves. We do have negative people, and I found out myself, and there's some positives that positive teachers who will try their hardest and go out their way just to help you and to focus on how you do. And
What else? Anyone?
To help her out. Sorry. To help her out a bit, I can understand where she's coming from, because like a lot of parents, they want to get involved, but they don't. And I think where like the children comes involved is like sitting down and talking to like the parents. If like if you have, I like say if like I mean if I have like if I say like I want to go to college, I want to get my degree, I wanna be successful in life, but you don't tell anybody, how is it going to help you? Because you just can't. I know people say that you need to help yourself, but there's also like there needs to be like family and encouragement that needs to be there. And I mean, for like the good part of it, I mean they can like always like be there to like encourage you and like to give you good input on things. But I guess it all involves with like how much do you want it.
To add on what she just said, most of our families, they're going through some struggles. And that falls down on us because we see our parents going through mostly a lot of things. And personally, me, I try to help my mom all the time. And when I help her, I just forget about what I need to do in school. And that's just, I mean, there should be something for the people's parents, because once they're good, we're good. We'll have the support we need from our family, and then we'll get support we need from the school, and then there will be no holes to fall through. That's my opinion.
So I hear you say there's some loopholes. There's some places where there are things that are not connected and are missing. I will agree with you that there are moments where a family is in crisis, thereby affecting your ability to concentrate in school or even want to be in school. So I hope we heard that as those of us who are sitting here, that it's not just that. But I want to take that and bring it back to the classroom for just a few moments with regards to, Kevin, you started the conversation with talking about being on the cell phones with classroom environment. How does that play into your success? Anyone on the panel?
Well, I think that plays into your success because it's just, if you're on your phone, you're not paying attention to the teacher. When you get the test, you won't pass it. It's just a ripple effect of what you do. If you are not on your phone, then you're concentrated on the teacher, meaning when you get the test, you know exactly what's going on, and then you pass the test, and you don't have to worry about taking the class or the test again.
Anyone else want to talk about the classroom environment? Go ahead. Just turn the mic on and it's on.
My name is Nick Bird. I am 17 years old and I attend SciTech High School. I'm a junior. Cell phones are, as we all know, universal to teenagers. It's what we need, honestly, if I could use a better word. But we use our cell phones to stay connected. And so in order for us to have a better future, in order for us to get the help that we need in order to succeed, maybe hitting our cell phones would help us out. Not technically saying, because when I'm with my mother and we have family time, so she calls it, we are forced to put our cell phone in a basket, and you get your cell phone back when we are done. Now, I have not seen a lot of teachers do that. I have seen it happen once, and I guarantee I can help you with anything math now. But it just starts with not exactly getting rid of our necessities, but so much as nourishing them in order for us to use our necessities in the proper way.
I chuckled when I heard you say the whole idea of not being able to live without a cell phone.
Yeah.
Because I made it through quite a few years of school without ever having one. And I appreciate the fact that you use the word connected. So what I'm hearing is that cell phones should be used in the classroom in a positive way, But the question then becomes, because when I talk about classroom environment, I'm not just talking about the cell phone. I'm talking about the child in your class. If you're there to get it on and get your education, what about the kids that are in the back cutting up when the teacher doesn't have an opportunity to teach you because they're addressing them? How does that make you feel? How does that impact learning? How does that impact success?
Well, it all starts honestly with discipline. If you're not disciplined enough to turn your cell phone off in your math class, then to be honest, you shouldn't be in the math class to begin with. Also, if you are using your phone for the right manner, then this conversation ended. Because when I'm in chemistry class, my chemistry teacher allows us to take pictures of our homework because she understands that we forget our homework, but we sure don't forget the pictures in our photo album.
You just gave me something to take to class tomorrow. Thank you.
Yeah, so it predominantly starts with discipline. If you're not disciplined enough to turn your cell phone off, then one, you shouldn't have a cell phone, and two, you shouldn't be in the class.
To add on that, I never turn off my phone in school. And to be honest, to tell the truth, we're students and we're teenagers. Not like we're really gonna turn off our phone. But it's like if there's like an important call, like from a parent or something, tell the teacher and then walk out the classroom to make that phone call. Don't disrupt nobody else that's trying to learn. And for discipline, even if it's like not on like, if they're not using their phone or anything, but if they're just like misbehaving in class, the ball game totally changed when I got into high school, because it's like the teacher just was like, just yell, and then they would be quiet for like a couple seconds, and then they would keep talking again. There was like no discipline. And I love our security guards, but no.
What does that mean? You love your security guards, but say some more about that, please.
I'm gonna be honest, we're way too close to our security guards than normal.
What does that mean?
They give us on the slap, they give people the slap on the wrist like multiple times. Like say like they say security, sweep the halls, and that means for everybody to get to the class on time. It'll be like 2 or 3 minutes after they say sweep the hall security, there could be kids just wandering and talking in the halls. Security be sitting right there, and they will like talk to us and goof off with us at the same time, and they know that they'll probably say at first, okay, get to class. They'll say like probably once. After that, they'll sit there. I see them talking to the kids and everything. I remember when I first started high school, I was nervous. I was like, make sure I did not get in trouble or anything, and I'm sitting there having to make sure I walk, like when I walk, like I make sure like they can see my passes and stuff. But then I look at the security, and then I look at a student, and they're sitting there slapping, hey, what's up, yo, and everything else, and I'm like, ain't y'all supposed to be security?
I'm gonna be honest. Like the security guards they're too much. Like they give off too much comments. It's inappropriate comments, and they act like children. Like I can do a better job, and I'm like 16 years old. And the cell phone thing, I don't believe that there's discipline. There's not it's not that much discipline in the class. When they have their cell phones taken away, they give it back like in like 5 seconds. Like try not to do it again, and they'll do it anyway in front of their face. They really don't care. You could do anything in the classroom, and the security guards, I actually seen one. There was he'd be like talking, and he'd be like cursing out of no reason, like just a curse. And when like the principal be like or a teacher just come close to him, then he's like, all right guys, like try to act like he's doing his job. That what makes me mad. I can do a better job than like a 30 or 40-year-old man can.
Let me ask this question. Since we're talking about security in your school, don't you think it's important for the students and the teachers and the administrators and the custodians and the security guards and the lunch people to all have some kind of relationship with the students? Do you not think that that's important?
I think it's important, but they don't take it as, they take it as a joke, basically.
Okay.
And I don't like that.
I think you should have a level of relationship, but don't cross it. When they call a hall sweep, back to what she said, only the people that they don't know will take taken to the office. If the security guard's cool with this, let's say the security guard's cool with me, but it's not cool with her, she will
Favoritism.
get taken to the office while I just walk. And I think that's just wrong because everybody should be treated equally, not because you're cool with him. You're just gonna be like, yeah, just hurry up.
How many of you are aware that last night there was a meeting at the old Lincoln School, which is now the district administration office, where there was discussion being held, right, but, you know, from the school district and other discussions to follow with regards to safety in school. And number one, police officers being in school or the use of metal detectors in the schools. Talk to me about that.
You see, they use metal detectors. I'll be honest, those metal detectors do not work.
No, I'm not talking about the ones that are currently being used. I'm talking about a metal detector that you walk through.
Then that will increase security in the school, because I actually seen people that went in with weapons, and I'm like, how would you get in when they were just scanning you? And then another thing, what I gotta say is, before we move on, the electronics, it should be like a privilege. You should be able to do research. Like one of my teachers, she said, we're doing this research today. You're allowed to use a phone to research. We all used our phones to do the research. That's it. And then we put it away. The thing is, we all like being on our phones. So no matter what we're doing, we just like being in it. So they give us the authorization to do a research. We won't need to be disturbed in class, think about some other thing that has going on if you're doing your work on your phone.
I'll come back to that in a minute.
I'll also add on something to that.
Go ahead.
That's kind of iffy right there, because like not everybody in the class, because I've seen that happen before actually, and not everybody has a privilege to have a cell phone, because not everybody has a cell phone. That's where I guess I wouldn't say money, but it's cost money for a laptop. And I mean, I seen my teachers struggling, like fighting with other teachers to be able to get the laptops so we can use them, yeah, for like the lesson we have in class, because there's not that much to go around. And also, I remember we had to like walk in, like everyone, like my first period, we had to like walk downstairs to like the library to be able to use the computers. And when we went down there was still not enough computers to use because half of them was broken. And to be able to use our phones to like take a picture or like for research and everything, half the people that be on their phones is not really doing what the teacher says to be doing. So
And that's where privilege comes in. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're not allowed to use the phone in class no more.
yeah, but say it wouldn't have to come down to that if we had laptops.
Very well. All right. Again, back to the issue of your safety in the building. How would you recommend that the school board begin to move to ensure that students and those who are in the building, because it's not just about the students, about those adults that are in the building as well, that we're safe when we enter the buildings, and what would that look like? Because again, the meeting last night talked about metal detectors, and it talked about maybe having a school resource officer, which is a police officer on school grounds. Tell us what you think about that. I want to stay on that for just a moment. Tell me what you think about metal detectors. Tell me what you think about the police in the building, and tell me how, because I heard the concern about security, how we fix that, and then we're going to segue into something else.
Well, before you can ask if we need metal detectors or anything of that nature, you have to ask first, how much do you trust your students? How much do you trust John Harris? How much do you trust SciTech? You know, how many times has there been weapons in our school? I've heard it brought up. So it first starts with, how safe do you feel in John Harris? How safe do you feel in SciTech? In SciTech, our security guards, if you're caught, something small even, if you're caught jumping in the lunch line, you sit down and you wait until everybody eats, and then you get up and get your food. Is there anything left up there? You might get some pineapple juice. But if you're walking to class with your jacket on, you take your jacket off, you write your name on a slip of paper, and you go down to the office with that slip of paper, and they'll say, okay, we'll see you at detention for 10 minutes. It starts really, now going back to the metal detectors, if you are really worried that students are bringing weapons, then by any means, use all the high technology that you have. But if it's not an issue, then you're gonna make students feel unsafe. I would feel unsafe if I came to school one day with a mountain high metal detector looking over me and about 3 security guards asking me questions. Hey, do you got a knife? Do you have a gun? Do you have this or that? And I would feel unsafe because I would feel as if, I don't know if I'm the first student to be asked this or the 300th student to be asked this. So it all starts with how much do you trust your students and how much do you trust the district?
You see, about safety, I think that there should be officers in the school because every day, and I'm telling you, every day, somebody lets somebody in the school from one of the side doors. Anybody can just text somebody, be like, get me at this time at the door and let me in. So if we have metal detectors, it's really not gonna do nothing if somebody just comes open the door for somebody next to the gym or somewhere, and then they bring a gun to the school. It's really not about the metal detectors, it's about the foundation of the school.
If I go to the side door and I open the door and I let someone in who isn't supposed to be in the building, does having a police officer in the building actually say that things are going to be safer because that police officer is there?
No, but then there will be a lot more help for the school because then there's somebody else watching than just 4 security guards that are at the high. And the high is a big building. There's only 4 security guards. And 95% of the times, people could get away with everything in that school.
Well, that's why we have cameras in the building, but half the time they don't check the cameras, and some of the cameras that we do have in our school does not work. And I want to say, well, like how, like I know you're probably thinking, how do you know like the cameras don't work? Well, there's a couple of times I've been not in the office for a bad reason, but like I've been in the office and one time and there was a situation that had went down and they was talking and I had overheard, and it was like, well, you know, such and such 206 camera doesn't work, and that one camera in the hallway doesn't work either, so we wouldn't even know. So especially like say if like a fight broke down and they like say they had the camera, but the camera right there didn't work, but the camera down like the hall worked, and they couldn't really pick out what happened, then they will have I guess would you say witnesses to come in. So that automatically thinks, okay, why you need witnesses if you have witnesses would that have went down if you have cameras.
Okay, so there's a great individual from the school administrative office who I hope is listening intently, and some of the things that you're saying with regard to your concerns, I'm sure will be passed on. I'm almost positive of that. But the other piece of it is I want to know your take on if there is a police officer in the school, if there is a assigned police officer in the school, the district then says, okay, we're going to allow police officers to be in the school. How does that affect the atmosphere of the building in a negative or a positive way?
I will feel uneased, like if there's like, because if we have a security, but if we have a police officer wandering the hall, it's like automatically we think, what happened? Why is it here? And we about to get, we in some type of trouble. And especially police officers, they carry guns. I wouldn't want no gun around me while I'm sitting there walking down the hall knowing there's, especially of what's been going on now, especially with police, and I don't even really feel safe when I'm around police officers anyway. Just like the image that we all see nowadays, which I'm guessing everybody have seen, and I understand that. Like it's a matter of thinking like what he has said. oh, I would feel weird, like if like a metal detector I would feel weird too. But then again, if we didn't have it, and then that would also think, well, there's a possible chance that there's somebody here with a weapon that's in our school. So it's either if you want the safety and security, or you don't. And a lot of our security that's in our school too, most of them, they coach some type of sport. Like our main security guard, he coaches football. Another one coaches softball. Another one coaches like for men's baseball, and then there's someone for like tennis and stuff like that. So a lot of our security guards, they're here, and then they have like an academic, well, not academic, like a sport that they hold that's after school, and so they're here for security.
Anyone else want to talk about school security?
Adding on to what she said about police officers in the school, like I said before, we would feel unsafe, but due to the picture that has been painted about police officers today, but for that instance, I would not assume that every cop is a bad cop. I would so much as say that I would feel safer with a cop of a clean record. I'm not necessarily inferring that they do not have a clean record. I am just saying a cop that I know and can trust is what I would look for in a school.
Let's take it a step further. I'm going to jump out of the school and into our community. So you want to talk about a police officer you trust. I want to take it out of the school, and I want to go into the community, because we hear how some of the concerns the issues that you have raised with regards to school. Now let's talk about the community and the environment that you live in. How do we develop rapport with officers anyway?
I mean, I think that's the reason why we have so much problems with the police, because we don't trust them. We feel unsafe when they're around. Me, I like to have the police around because I know I'm safe when they're around me, because nobody's gonna try anything stupid around a police officer. So I think I'm safe when I'm near a police officer. It's just, sometimes I just feel like I'm just being watched. Like I'm not, I would like to get to know the officer, be like, hi, what's up? Not create a strong bond, because, then that will affect his job. But it's just, somebody that I can know that they're there to help me, not just to watch what I'm doing.
Anyone else?
Another thing with what he says, a police officer that I can trust, more so a police officer that I can trust so much as a familiar face. When I see someone I know, I automatically feel safe.
Anyone else want to talk about that? Let's talk about some of the everyday things that you have to deal with in the environment that you live in that affect you as an individual, whether personally or through the 6 degrees of separation that exist in our society today. For example, let me give you an example. We recall a few months ago, it was on the way to school, not at school, so this is not a school issue. This is a community safety issue, where the young lady was sexually assaulted on the way to school, or assaulted on the way to school. How do we make our communities a safer place for you and for those that live in it?
Honestly, it starts with ideas. We need ideas. More than that, we need a plan. So when I walk to school, I keep normally about 2 to 3 friends with me, and that way my vigilance is enhanced, because I know if they see something, I'll know, I'll let my other friend know, then we know to get out of there. It's mainly just keeping someone with you and knowing what to do, how to do it, and where to go. Also, we know the streets to avoid. Most of us know some of the streets to avoid. So more than that, we need more protection around those streets and protection around our school. Because when you protect around our school, then you're protecting what's inside of the school. So.
You see, unlike him, I like walking on my own. I really do like walking. I don't walk in a large group, and most of the students at the high like walking on their own. And I can't say that the police need to be around the school, because it's just too big of an area for police officers to cover. they need to do the job as well because there's emergencies they need to take care of. So they can't be around the school every day waiting to see something happen. So I think that just there should be some, once in a while pass, let the people that are around know that the police officer passes, a couple of times a day, something like that.
Okay.
I don't really think that it should be it's for me it's sad that it has to actually go that far, but that's where I think the community should come in because when I was younger, everybody looked out for each other, like the parents and even if you don't have a child, but usually they be up in the morning, they look out for us watching kids walk by and stuff. I mean, I think that the community or the neighborhood should look out for each other and everything, and that's how I feel, especially if it's somebody that doesn't work in the morning or something, take the initiative to wake up and even if you don't have a porch, look out your window, make sure that everything's okay, and to look out for the kids that's going to school. I mean, I would feel safer like that. If I'm walking to school and then when I was younger, I went to school and then people waved and say hi, how you doing, and everything. I think I feel safer like that because then I'll have a warm smile and make sure know I'm safe. I have people watching me as I'm going to school instead of having a cop car sitting on the corner, and that just automatically makes me think, oh my gosh, somebody's around, somebody's gonna
China, how old are you?
I am 17.
17. So when you were younger, that was 2 years ago? No, I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing you because that's something that we used to say at my age when we were growing up. There was a greater sense of community and people looked out for each other. So when you said that, I thought maybe you...
No, actually, I actually walked to school when I was in second grade, and I lived in Norfolk, Virginia, and so we really had a tight community. Everybody knew everybody, and everybody looked out for everybody. And we had crossing guards up to the gazooza. We had every corner you saw there was somebody, even if it wasn't a crossing guard, it was just a regular person, and they would just make sure that we got across. Okay, and I'm only 7 years old and I'm walking to school, but I felt safe and my mom knew that I was safe because it was probably a block down, not even a block, half a block, but everywhere I walked there was somebody looking over.
You see, and one thing, let me add one thing.
Think about it. Are there any questions from our audience for our young people, please, or points of that we want to jump in and share that we might expand the conversation a little bit? Maybe something's on your mind. Please, the mic is there for you to help engage the conversation and allow these young people to respond to your questions, your thoughts.
You see, one thing we need to work on definitely is this whole thing going on from the Black and Rican thing. I'm Rican.
Be more clear in what you said because it was mumbled.
One thing we definitely need to work on is the whole thing, that Black and Rican separation thing. I'm Rican, and my best friend is Black.
Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Okay.
Puerto Rican. Sorry.
Thank you.
And my best friend is Black. And I have no problems with Black people. So the whole separation of the community is going on because somebody started something, and now, next thing you know, two racial groups are going against each other when we should be united as one, as a community, because that's what we are, a community. We live around each other.
Not only that, it couldn't even be a race against race. It could be the same race against each other. I mean, we have so much hate in our community, and instead of working things out, we like to shoot each other, and I just think it's sad. And I mean, where I live probably in a tight place, down, I live in a downtown area, so I kind of feel safer down there. But once I go to a friend's house and I'm in the neighborhood, and I really do, I feel wary of it kind of, because it's I look on the news and somebody had got shot, or there was a shooting, or there was an altercation that had went down, and I mean, I think the people in the neighborhood should speak up about it instead of just letting like the law handle everything, because the law don't know everything. They don't know what we go through. They don't know what things need to be fixed. They don't know what situations go on. They just look at what had happened and they'll take their perspective on it. They don't hear nobody from the community. And I think that people that lives in the neighborhoods or the community should speak up of it, because if it's somewhere like on like a higher end neighborhood, like a nice neighborhood, and then like something tragic went down in there, they're gonna be there like that. But if it's somewhere in our neighborhood and something went down, they're gonna take like 20 to like 30 minutes before something even actually really happened.
Hi, good evening. I think a couple of you had seen me at the last forum. Wendy Weaver Carter, I'm a retired city police officer. And as I sit here and listen to all of you, I feel like you're saying one thing and you're saying another, and I respect everything everyone's saying. And what I'm hearing is you don't trust police, but yet you want to be safe. So what I would just like to share with you all, and whatever happens at the outcome of the school board and what they decide to do for you all as far as safety is going to be up to them. But I was born and raised in Harrisburg. I went to Harrisburg High School. I was a police officer for 25 years here. I was a school resource officer. I'm here tonight. I don't have to be. I don't have any kids in the city schools anymore, or at all, period. And I care. And why I'm here and what I'm hearing from you all is that you don't trust the police. Well, I'll be first to tell you that there's some knucklehead police in every department. There's knucklehead teachers. There's knucklehead everything. There's knucklehead students. There's great students. So I think what I'm trying to want to share with you all is when I was a school resource officer, I covered 3 different schools. I covered Lincoln, I covered Hamilton, and I covered Woodward. And I had a great rapport with my students and my teachers. I had 3 different principals. The principals run the building. It wasn't my job to go in and take over and run the building. It was my job to learn their personality and work with them. That's the way I operated as a school resource officer. So in all 3 of my buildings, I worked differently, if you will. We taught DARE classes in 5th grade at that time, and now that may be a little bit obsolete, that particular course, but there are other courses that the police could be teaching and building a rapport with you. But I just want to share a couple more little pieces real quick. I had, when they started the school resource officer unit in 2001 until 2007 is the length of time I worked in it, I had an opportunity to meet kindergartners, the whole way up to 8th graders in my buildings. And I'd also go to the high or up to VOTEC at the time, if we needed to go, if there was a problem or somebody was absent and there was an issue up there, we'd get called and pulled to go. But my point is, in my buildings, let's take Lincoln for an example. I got to know all the different ages of kids. There was a lot of bullying, a lot of he say, she say stuff. There was a lot of things that came from the community into our building at Lincoln. You know what I did? I never wanted to try to have to arrest anybody. Why? Because if I give you a charge, you're not going to get a student loan to go off to college. So, I used to stay in my office till 6 o'clock at night, and my day was done at 3:30. But I wanted to call parents, make notes of incidents or whatever, so that I would be able to follow through and help the young people that I was working with. And what I did was, when we had a big problem one time, the principal, the assistant principal, and the counselor all supported me. And I said, why don't we get all the parents of these students or guardians, whomever they lived with, grandmom, whoever, make them all come in. They came into the library one morning, and we all had a big talk. And, that kind of stuff was resolved, and everybody was happy in the end. The other thing, a bunch of girls, 7th, 8th grade girls, always nitpicking at each other. We had a big round table discussion in the conference room. When I whispered something in the first girl that was sitting next to me's ear, a statement, like, I love dogs, for an example. Do you know what happened? By the time everyone whispered it the whole way around, and it came back to me, it was so distorted, it wasn't even anything I said. Why did I do that? I did that to give an example of how, you know, the he say, she say stuff is so ridiculous. And that's what's so much. I mean, I feel so much love just by all of you all looking at me right now. And I would love to be able to connect with you all. I mean, I'm retired now, but I mean, if there's any way I could come back and help somehow, I'd love to. But I'm telling you, you could really trust police officers if they have the right ones put into the positions. And just like you all said about security, and they're too close to you. Well, you know, I think Mr. Montgomery, correct? What he had said about shouldn't all the different people that work in your building know you and have a rapport with you? That's extremely, extremely important. If you're important, all of you sitting up here are equally as important. If I got to know you and could say, hey man, how was your game last night? I could say, how was your little sister feeling? And on, whatever the case may be, to personalize something that would make something connect to you. Would you feel better? How would you feel? Would you feel special?
Yes.
Thank you. I would like that if you would say to me, Officer Carter, how's your mom feeling? You know, if you knew my mother was, I mean, my mother passed away when I was a school resource officer. I got cards from different classrooms. And I mean, the people were so nice to me. So there was love between us. I'd give kids a hug or whatever. Go ahead, babe.
We need people like you in our schools that want to be there, want to help us, that have the fire in them.
And I still have it, so maybe I can come.
Well, let me jump on. You said we need people like her in our schools. Can I segue, since I'm in the schools? You have people like that in your schools who first don't wear guns, and I'm not for or against. I'm just saying to these young people, you have those people in your school. Mr. Crespo, you were one of my 8th grade students. And when we first got together, you didn't care too much for me. Am I correct?
You're correct.
But did I waver in my love and my dedication to you?
Yes, but the thing is, we only have just.
Did I hold on? Did I waver? Was I good or consistent or was I bad? I'm sorry. You said yes. I thought maybe.
You was awesome. You got me through middle school, so you're awesome.
Thank you.
What I gotta say is that it's just too little of the people that have that kind of fire in them. They're just too little. In the high school, I know of one teacher that pushes me every single day.
It only takes one.
It only takes one, exactly. You did it. So
it only takes one.
It's just that one extra push that you need. When I say, oh, I'm Miss Thurman, I can't do this. She was like, oh yes you can. You're not moving from here until you finish that. And then that's that one push that some of these kids just need. They just need that one person that be like, you're gonna finish that. And you're gonna pass my class with flying colors. Not just say, she hates when I say, oh, I'll pass my class. When I have like a D or something, she don't like that. She wants me to have an A or a B. That she's pushing me to have the grades I have right now. We need more people like her and Officer Carter in our schools. Just are there to help us.
But not, again, I don't want this to just be the focus of school, the community as well. Because I'm gonna give it to you. Even if we're talking about that one person at the Boys and Girls Club, or that one person that's down the street from your house, there ought to be that one person. But what can you do? What can we do to help motivate you even more in terms of your level of success? Go ahead, China. I saw you. I want to give you your chance.
I want to get back on the safety part for a second. It wasn't the fact that I don't feel safe when officers are there. I just feel unease, cause what if you was walking down the street and you had 6 officers around you and behind you? I mean, I will feel I just feel just for me and my natural instinct, I'll just feel something is going to happen, or there's something about to occur. And I know that not all officers are bad. It's just that I just feel like they should get in, like how what she had did. I just feel like they should get into like the community more and learn more about the people that lives in them neighborhoods to like have a better understanding. And as far as security go, I feel like because I have all good relationships with our security, even Mr. C, and I just feel like if I could just, it's okay if you like talk to them, but if they're supposed to, if that child's supposed to be in class, you should tell them to go to class. If you see that every class is in, every grade is in some type of class, and you see kids sitting in the lunchroom just on their phone or doing something, you just walk past or just say hi and walk past and don't even say nothing. You should tell them why are you down here? Like, are you supposed to be in class? Where's pass? Da 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 da. And if like they're sitting there like in their hall, or if you know that they're not supposed to be at their locker at that post time, that if you like just ask, hey, you got a pass to be at your locker, like just them simple things. Like, I mean, it's okay to like be cool with us, but do your job. That's all I ask is just do your job. Cause like there's things in there, and then like they get mad at the teachers, and I'm like, okay, so where was such and such? Well, how am I supposed to know? I have a class. I'm teaching a class. Well, where's the security guards? What the security guards doing? I mean, cause obviously, how you gonna go to a teacher where kids at and ask them? Well, you have securities walking up and down these halls. I mean, ask them. Well, oh, I saw him sitting such and such, or I saw him in the bathroom. Well, how long has he been in the bathroom? Well, I don't know. And then I'm coming up the stairwell, and I'm seeing my security guards sitting on a chair on their phone, on Facebook, and everything else. What type of security is that? That's all I ask. It's just It's okay to be cool with us, but do your job.
We're gonna come back to something that Officer Carter said in just a moment, because I wanna flesh that out. But we have a gentleman at the mic. Please engage us.
How many of you have personally had negative interactions with the police, or your assumptions about the police, which you see on TV or social media?
I have.
I didn't. I love the police. They're there to help me. For real. I'm not lying. That's what I like. They're there to help me. They're not there to, do bad. They're there to help me. So I'll say what I gotta say.
Like I said, like he said, I like the police because like the safety reasons. But it's like how they portray themselves from social media, and how like they treat us like African Americans and all that drama, and it like sums in and like gives a negative effect of police officers.
So what you see on TV and like Facebook,
it's affect our like
perception.
Yeah.
Okay. So if a lot of you say about trust, if the police officers look like you guys, color-wise, would that build any more trust, or would you still have the same feelings?
The color of the skin doesn't necessarily change my thought on my protection. When I walk down the street, I still get uneasy when I see men in blue. I might put a little pep in my step and turn my music off, and I'll listen to what I hear. But regardless of that, the skin color never mattered for me. The social media never mattered. I feel as if there are always two sides to a story. Whether or not what happened should have happened, in my opinion, of course, no. But that doesn't change the way I see the police.
So how do we build the trust? And I know I see you over there. You going? Okay. As we have Chief Carter here, and then Rev back there wants to hit the mic, so we want to hear that. But I want you to keep in mind after their conversation, their questions or dialogue, I need you all to help us to understand how we build that trust and relationships. Chief?
I heard some very interesting things said here, and I want to congratulate you all for coming here and for speaking out. I think that makes you very, very brave. What I'm also hearing here is that you don't trust the police, or you don't know how to take the police, because this connect has happened there because you haven't been around the police to know how the police operate, by what laws they operate. You don't know what makes police officers tick. That's why I believe it's important that at a very young age that police officers should be in school, should be teaching classes, because there are opportunities when it comes to police officers teaching classes. You know, there's job fields, law fields, enforcement fields, there are probation, parole. There's a lot of educational pieces that police officers can teach you. We can teach you how not to get in trouble. We can teach you why when I come to your house to interview you and I don't look at you eye to eye, I'm sort of scanning around the room because there's dangers out there. And police officers, they have family too, and they're human, and they don't want to get injured. It's not that they're being disrespectful or anything like that, but we're trained a certain way. So I think it's important for you as young people to understand what makes a police officer tick, you know, why we work the way that we currently work, you know. Police officers, for the most part, they are very friendly people. They are family people, and their biggest thing is that they want to go home the same way that they came to work, healthy. Everybody talks about what happened to Mike Brown. Everybody talks about Ferguson, New York City, Cincinnati. I think, you know, that is a shame as to what happened to those young people. But we don't know the whole story. We only know, you know, what social media put out there. We only know, you know, what social media let us see. You know, people are great, but sometimes people get together and march and riot for the wrong reasons. You know, there is more black on black crime, young kids hurting each other, than there are police officers hurting kids. If you read the paper, there are more officers out there saving kids' lives and becoming parts of, you know, kids' lives and helping them out. When I was in the program, SRO program, I was in charge of John Harris High School. Brianna Woodring, Lieutenant Woodring, she started that program. I was her corporal back then. And we had a great program. I coached on the basketball team. They won the state championship. Coached on the football team. Helped out with the track team. I gave kids lunch money, took them home to weight training. We were there as an added resource for our kids. I'm from Harrisburg High School. I'm from Harrisburg City. I know every nook and cranny and family in this city probably. I know Hispanics, blacks, whites, Mexicans. I know everybody here. I know parents, grandparents, everything. So we are here as a resource to help kids. And hopefully, you know, I'm from Harrisburg High School. I'm the first police chief from Harrisburg High School. I'm proud about that. I'm proud of Harrisburg High School. Harrisburg High School is an awesome school. We done turned out some great people in this area. But it's never talked about. It's never said. Let's be at their voice that put it out there. Yes, I'm from Harrisburg High School. I graduated from Harrisburg High School, and I achieved this. I want to sever that high school to prison pipeline. That's a serious problem here. Not that many kids from Harrisburg High School go to college. They don't go to trade schools. They don't join the military. A lot of them, they end up in the streets getting in trouble, doing something stupid, and they have criminal records. I want to stop that stuff. I want to give every young adult an opportunity to succeed. And I believe that if we give you the knowledge on how to approach police officers, what to say, how to react to police officers, everything will be fine. We want to be there to help you. We don't want a Columbine or anything to happen here. The young man said, you know, that he's seen weapons at the school. I know that there were weapons at the school because when I was out there, they had shootouts right down the street from the schools, and the kids, they just left school. You know, so these are serious problems. My thing is I want you to get your education. I want you to be successful, but I want you to be safe in the neighborhoods and also at your schools. Thank you all.
Before tonight, how many of you knew that this young man that just left the mic, how many of you knew him or knew what he did? Raise your hand. So there are only two of us at the panel tonight that knew. Come on, Mrs. Keys. There are only two of you tonight that knew that that young man who was just standing at the mic is the current chief of police of the city of Harrisburg, graduate of Harrisburg High School, resident of the city, someone who is a resource. Go, Mrs. Keys.
Good evening. I first want to say thank you to Pastor Montgomery and to the Bethany AME Church for opening up your doors and for stepping forward as a clergy member and also as a teacher in the Harrisburg School District to host this forum. And then I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for coming here and sharing your thoughts, your ideas, and your suggestions. You know why? Because your voice matters. It matters. My name is Kirsten Keys, and I am the Public Relations Coordinator for the Harrisburg School District. They had a position like that a number of years ago, but because of budget issues, they weren't able to have that position. But I've been there now for the past 5 months, trying to bridge the gap between the school district and the community. And when I say the community, I also mean parents. The school board has a meeting every third Monday of the month. And then there are other meetings throughout the month. There are like a total of 6 meetings where you and your parents and the entire community can come and talk to your district leadership, to Dr. Sybil Knight Burney, who is your superintendent, who cares immensely about each and every one of you. And I will beg to differ that there are many, many people in this school district, not just one, not just 2, but I witness it late at night, teachers and staff working into the night, working over the weekend, even in the summer. Am I right about it, Pastor? Am I right about it? So there are things that maybe you young people don't see that teachers give out of the reservoir of their heart because, number 1, they are dedicated and committed to you, our students. Number 2, they have a passion for education. And within that, we also want to see you safe and secure within your school buildings. So yes, last night, the school board did convene a community forum, and we sent 2 calls out to 6,800 households. And let me finish. Every household in the district, we are asking your parents, when you're enrolled from the very beginning, to give us your contact information. Some of those households that we send that call out to, 1,000 of them, they block their number because they don't want to receive our calls. Yes. And so when you say that maybe you didn't know about it, it's not because Dr. Sybil Knight Burney and the school board, Ms. Jennifer Smallwood, who's the president, and many of us who work at the admin office haven't tried to reach parents in the community. We also reached out to the media that you see here. They had it on ABC 27. They had it on CBS 21. They had it on WGAL TV8. They had it on Fox News and Penn Live. So we used every mechanism possible. We even put it on our website so that parents could see that information. But first and foremost, I just want to leave you with the thought. Number 1, we are so proud of you. We hear your voices. We're listening. We're considering what you're saying. We're taking into consideration what your parents and other community members are saying. Because we had probably 75 to 85 people out last night. And their voice came through loud and clear. The majority of them don't want to see armed officers in our schools for the very reason that some of you stated. It makes you uneasy. There was conversation about metal detectors, and the adults that were in the room, they weren't feeling that either. And while they all admitted that we have discipline issues at John Harris, at SciTech, at our middle schools and elementary schools, they want to see us come together as people. I mean, we're human beings. We can come to the table and reason together. Yes, with young people and adults alike. And so that's what the adults in the room last night said, that they want us to come together and try to resolve these issues before we bring in SROs. We even have a conversation on the table, should the school district hire their own district police officers that are internal and can build those kind of relationships with you that you're talking about, China. So we're listening, and we have your best interests at heart. Please come to the board meetings. Know that Dr. Knight's door is always open. My number is 514-6520, 514-6520. I answer that phone 24/7. And I encourage you, if your parents need information, they have questions, I encourage them to call me. My job is to engage the community in a more effective way. We want to partner with you. We want to partner with your parents. We want to partner with the community. We want to partner with the city. We want to partner with Chief Carter. We want to partner with Miss Wendy, who said she just wants to help. So anybody who wants to help make our city and our schools better, we want them at the table, because we can work together, and there's much to do on your behalf. Your future is bright. Thank you.
You see, what I gotta say is, they contact our parents. Sometimes our parents, they don't like really care about that. But if I were to be contacted, like in a school saying that there's this more meetings going on, I will go. I will tell my mom, can you take me over there? She might not stay, but I'm sure staying. Right now, I tell my mom, you want to stay? She said, no, I got things to do, but I'm here.
So I think what you're saying is that not only do the parents need to be, but maybe have it announced in school, because maybe some of our students so Ms. Keys is hearing that, she's heard you say that, so I'm sure she will take that into consideration.
So do you think that if we announced it over the loudspeaker, have each school do that in the morning and the afternoon where the students can also hear the announcement, you think that would be effective as well?
Well, I can't speak about anybody. I can speak about me. I will definitely be there.
I think
Because I
there are
know
some
when
others
it's
that
going to
would
take
too.
place,
Mhm.
and I know where.
And
But
it's Mr. Crespo?
Yes.
Thank you so much, and we will do that. We will do that because it's all about engagement, it's about involvement, and it's about investing in one another so that our community can be better.
And another thing, parents do stuff we don't like for our safety. So the school should do the same thing. Some of our parents and some of us don't want officers in the building, but we need to do it for our safety, not because we like it. It's because at the end of the day, the police officers are there and their school is safer.
And we agree. And the other caveat to this, and you'll find out more as you go through life, you got to consider your checkbook. Can we afford to do that? The chief and the mayor gave us a proposal for $1.4 million to have them in the school. That's a lot of money. And if you're familiar with anything about recovery, our city is a city in recovery, trying to, etch their way back from like the brink of financial demise. Guess what? The school district is trying to do the same thing. So at the end of the day, safety and security is like the highest on our priority, but at the same time, we have to balance that with our pocketbook. You know what I'm saying? Like, what can we afford to do? And how do we do that with keeping your safety top of mind, top priority? So many variables, many factors, and that's what the superintendent and our school board are desperately looking at and wanting input from the community and from your parents. And we're going to get there. This isn't over. We are going to make sure that your safety and security is maximized and given that top priority. So thank you guys again.
The gentleman coming to the mic right now is Mr. Carl Singleton. Mr. Carl Singleton is the senior advisor to Mayor Eric Papenfuss, who is the current mayor of the city of Harrisburg. Mr. Singleton is a graduate of Harrisburg High. Yeah, well, I'm gonna give it to you anyway. He's the graduate of Harrisburg High, and tonight he is the not only the senior advisor, he also has his van driver hat on tonight. So won't you address us, please, tonight, sir?
Well, I sat back and I listened to a lot, and of course, the young people. I couldn't be more thrilled to have you here. I wanted to publicly announce that they showed the initiative. I showed up at one Harrisburg High Impact Club meeting, and we have a bond for life from here on out. As I said to them, from a product of Hall Manor to, as we say, from Hall Manor to City Hall, it's possible, And always remember, as I talk to you and your groups in Harrisburg High, your current state is not your permanent reality. Remember that what you have is unimaginable gifts and talents. It is as limitless as you would like it to be. There's no one that's going to do anything for you that you can't or shouldn't do for yourself first, or at least attempt to. We've heard a lot of things being said here today. There's no price on safety, whether in the schools or in the community. So safety, and let me just be clear. When we start talking about numbers and throwing millions back and forth, I personally had meetings with Dr. Sybil Knight Burney and DA Ed Marsico to talk about grant opportunities. I personally had meetings with Dr. Sybil Knight Burney and County Commissioner Priest to talk about grant opportunities to help fund things. So what the chief laid in front of the school district was at the school district's request. We had verbal closed-door meetings to discuss what it would take to re-implement the SRO program. It wasn't that the city came up with this grand scheme to come up with this $1 million budget to say, let's charge the school district. We were having verbal dialogue conversations in the school district requested that we put something in writing. not as a final, here's what it is, here's what we're charging, but here's a way from which to work to ensure that we could implement another possible safety measure. That was it. So for all of the dialogue that goes on in regards to the millions of dollars that the city is asking the school district to pay, first of all, it's all the same tax base, so it's all our money. We're all residents right here. So it's not us against them. It's not SciTech against Harrisburg High. We're all Harrisburg High. It's not the city against the school district. We're all city residents. The city of Harrisburg is only going to be as successful as its planet roots. And those planet roots are where? In the school district. So there's a mutual level of respect and support that needs to go and maintain some type of reciprocated relationship. And so when you hear the adults come up, that's why, notice, we said the adults are going to be in the stands. You're the experts. You speak honestly and clearly. And when necessary, you speak truth to what's perceived to be power. Because we're going to be going sooner than later. And you'll be taking our places. And our job right now is to make sure that you take our places better prepared to lead than we were or than we left those positions. Whether that's as teachers, custodians, owners of businesses, police officers, DAs, judges, name it. You are charged with being better than the people who came before you. And remember, if I could do it, and I wasn't even the best thing that came out of Hall Manor or in Harrisburg School District at all. There's 2 doctors that came out of the class of 1991. And they were inspired by the class of 90 and 89 and so forth and so on. So I'm just standing up here just to simply say, you know, I'm proud of you. Whenever there's friction going on or perceived friction amongst adults, make sure that you all, as the young people in our future, are at nothing else. Just be the voice of reason. Speak clearly. Articulate what you want. Stop letting us tell you what you need and what you want. You articulate that. You're the role models. You're the bosses, in other words. As the school district goes, so goes the city. Open line of communication.
Thank you. Go ahead, China, and then Mr. Don Rico Calderon will come to the mic, and then we're going to wrap up tonight. So China, and then Sir, and then we'll wrap up.
I wanted to say of the conversations that we had in Impact Club, like, because we have discussions and we talk about all the changes that we want and that we want to improve on. And one of the main conversations that we had was in regards to the safety, but it's about the safety, but like transportation wise. A lot of children come and walk blocks to go to school because they say, well, you're in walking distance, and walking distance is like from all the way from like way down past Market Street Hill, and you have to walk all the way up, even in the type of weather conditions that we have. And there was several times, like several occasions for me, that the bus that I had took, I couldn't ride. My bus that they assigned me, I could not ride because there was way too many students on that bus and there was no seats whatsoever on that bus. So I wake up in the morning and at 6:59 I go outside and I stand with the other kids and I wait for that bus. When that bus come here, there was no seats on that bus whatsoever. So it was probably like 1 or 2 seats. So I let the people take it because I know that since I go to SciTech too, I have a bus card that I can take, that I can ride the city bus for free. So I walk all the way up the hill and I'm at the bus stop and I wait for that bus to come. Then I go to school. Then I get yelled at for being late. But then I asked like my principals, like, well, y'all told us that we're not late till 8 o'clock. So why am I, and I said, well, at least I'm at school. I mean, half these kids don't even come to school, but you're gonna sit there and criticize me because I'm late for school. Well, at least I'm trying to get my education. So y'all tell me to go to the auditorium. What I'm going to the auditorium for? I sit down in the auditorium, get a paper saying that I'm on DNA. They're not trying to suspend us so it won't be on our record, but they put on DNA. And then they sit there and they give us this whole lecture. I come in at 8 o'clock I understand that the bell rang and class started at 7:45. Well, let me go to class. Let me so I can make up. So we sit there 10 minutes passing, and I'm in this auditorium waiting so they're trying to gather up more and more people that's late. 8:20. Then they finally come and they tell us what we're in here for, and they want to lecture us. 7:30. They give us a paper and they put our name on it, and they said, well, you're on DNA, and what this DNA does is you can go to school for the day, but tomorrow you can't come back. But after that day, you have to come back with your parent, or you cannot be accepted in the school, which DNA is do not admit.
Let me ask you a question real quick, because we're gonna get ready to wrap up, China, because I want to hear from Don Rico, and then we're gonna wrap up. Impact. If we're talking about transportation, again, Ms. Keys is here, and we're talking about transportation, what is one of the things that the school district or we as adults could do to assist in making sure that our kids made it to school on time?
Just like SciTech have IDs that we're allowed to get on a bus to go to school.
So you're saying every student who attends the Harrisburg School District should have a bus pass?
I feel that they should have a bus. They should have a bus pass, even if like they do ride the school bus in the morning. But we have sports in the afternoon, and we have to find our own transportation because there's no transportation for us. Can
I suggest something to you all, since it's a conversation that you're having, and I because Mr. Singleton said about making you all better. I suggest something. If it is something that you all are talking about in your impact club, we need to determine how much one of those bus pass costs, determine how many students there are, and then talk about the overall cost. Because everything in life comes down to dollars and cents. And we talk about safety, and we're sincere about your safety, but we also have to think about the other things that go along with school. So we're hearing you, and I'm not telling you that we're not. We're hearing you, but why don't you all begin to do a cost study on it? And then, because Ms. Keys just invited you to come to the meetings, put a PowerPoint presentation together, put your power suit on, go on in there, China girl, and make that presentation. Go ahead. I told you, hey, now wait a minute. Ms. Keys said she'll help. She'll help you do the cost study. She said she'll help you put it together, get you dressed and ready to go. And when you're ready to go, you call us who are here tonight, and we'll be there with you.
Okay.
You had some good problem solving going on there. My name's Don Rico Colden. I'm a minister who works in healthcare. And I wanted to share an observation. I was sitting back there listening, and I was aware of a very high level of anxiety from this panel. And as a community, I guess I'd like us to, and I wish we had more time to just dialogue about this, but we don't, but it's something to leave you with. I'm wondering if you understand where the anxiety originates. You talked a lot about the things that you're uncomfortable with or afraid of, and I heard some stereotyping going on, and other types of negative comments or conversations. But there's a lot of positive to draw on, and I guess if we have time, I would really like to talk with you about where do you really think your sense of safety comes from? Because some of that isn't coming from other people. So where do you draw your strength from? Who are your role models? Who do you want to be like? I heard some positive comments tonight. I was glad to see when Miss Wendy came up and when Miss Kirsten came up. For some reason, the dynamic started to change. I don't know if the rest of you were aware, but there was some real positive energy flowing back and forth. And I would like for you to start to look for that energy. Pay attention to where the good energy comes from. And don't allow the negative energy or thoughts to distract you from your purpose, not just in the classroom, but in life. And what I'm trying to get to on one level is a sense of a higher being, a spiritual walk. So those kinds of things, because that also is where that's your greatest resource to draw from. So peace to all of you. Don't be so afraid of things.
Won't you give these young people a hand that are here tonight, please? I certainly want to thank all of you for coming. I certainly hope that those of you who were here listening to them gained information. I also hope that our young people realize that we're counting on you. We know that at some point we're going to be in a place where you're going to be the leaders, and we're counting on you. We're counting on you, and some of you may not have said a word tonight. It's okay. Clement invite you back again, so don't be shy. We're going to invite you back again, and I thank those who spoke out tonight. I hope that when we leave tonight, you realize that this is, again, an ongoing conversation. And in 2 weeks, we'll be back. In 2 weeks, we'll be back. We'll put out the topic and we'll prepare to come in. And in 2 weeks, we'll be back again. Why? Because this is an initiative to gather the information needed in order that we might do things that are going to best benefit you all as well as the greater Harrisburg community. So please, when you think about those things that are important to you, and you know we're going to be here, write them down. And if you can't be here to do it, send it so someone else can get it out there so that we can hear your voices. And for those of you who are here from the community tonight, I know the weather may have hindered the numbers, but I don't believe in that there were some people that should have been here that needed to hear this. No, those who were here were the ones that needed to hear it. Amen. That's just me from a pastor perspective. But in closing, thank you all for your time tonight. Please know in 2 weeks we'll be back at 6:30 on a Thursday night, doing it all over again with another topic leading us to improving our city. A better Harrisburg school district makes for a better city of Harrisburg. A better city of Harrisburg produces great people. And right now, I think that's one of the next things we might want to do, Mr. Singleton, is bring in some success stories from Harrisburg High and have them sitting here at the table and being our panel and having our young people hear from some people who have come out of the very city that you live in right now. And some of them came out of times that were a little bit more turbulent than what we're dealing with today. And hear how they are successful. Business owners, doctors, lawyers, the mayor's big man over there, but we want to do that. And some of them who have come from this very area are on the news. They're behind the cameras. They're all over the place, but you don't see them, so you don't know they're there. So we want to maybe bring them in so that you can hear from them. Thank you all for coming. 2 weeks, 6:30. That's 2 Thursdays from tonight. We'll be back. Thank you. Have a good evening.